Yo, if you're watching on social media, share this out. Let us know what you got going on today. It's the Monday after a beautiful Sunday, and we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna kick this on the FM. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. It's 8:35 on a Monday morning. It's November 1st. I got AJ with Hippie Fertilizing in studio. AJ, can you believe that it's already November? We were talking earlier. Your birthday's coming up this month. It's almost 2021's almost over. How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing great. This year has been awesome. No, I almost can't believe it. It's like I woke up and it was January 1st.
Of 2020.
Of 2020. Then 2021 happened. And then now it's like, oh, shucks. In like, less than about 60 days, it's going to be 2022.
Are you prepared?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Got some good things rolling out here this next year. I've been doing a lot of homework because we've been seeing a lot of good stuff, right? But, I'm always working on, like, what can make it more efficient, what can make it better, all that. And, like, one of the things, this is just as, like, a small business owner, I'm going to improve, like, our customer software, right? That's about to get an upgrade this week because going from a few customers to like 100, needs a little bit better management system.
Yeah.
So fortunately, I stumbled across Gorilla Desk, and that's going to get lined up here this week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That is important because, you think about it. You got a handful of clients, you take care of them, and it's like, okay, but you can't go from like a handful, like you said, to 100 because unless you have some stuff in place.
Right.
That's difficult.
And then also, in the last few years, we've been doing a lot of work with our one-time services, like our Hippie Juice application, our lawn restoration package, and those are still always going to be there, right? But we're definitely going to start putting more emphasis on our monthly and bi-monthly customers. As a business owner, like, hey, people told me all the time, you need to build up your monthly clientele. I'm like, no, I got this. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, AJ, grow up, dude. They're right.
It makes sense, yeah.
It does. But also, it allows me to, like, them being a regular customer, having more of them, it's been a part of what's allowed me to try different stuff this year,
Mm-hmm.
R&D ain't cheap, y'all.
Yeah.
Right? It's really not. Well, like, honestly, in the last few years, I've spent so much on trying to figure out, like, what I like and how I like to do it. And this next year, we're going to roll out with something even a little bit different. Because there's a product that I like called MicroLife Hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2005. The main source of nitrogen in it, though, is a product called Neutraline. It's a slow release. It has 90% less salt in it than your typical, like, chemical fertilizer. It needs to be consumed by microbes to be released. At least like 15% of it, 4 or 5% of it is still like that faster release urea nitrogen. But the other like 15% is that urea methylene, and that needs to be consumed by microbes to be released. So it's very dependent on how biologically active your soil is, soil temperature, rain, because rain is a huge component, or water is a huge component on how active everything is too. Your microbes need to stay hydrated just like we do.
Yeah.
Right? Something like I never really kind of thought about it. I always know water's important, but, those little boogers need a lot of water too sometimes. So I asked the question for a while, how can I get this urea methylene in a liquid? Right? Because liquid applications, they kind of can simplify things. And I'm like, okay, well, if these granular applications work like this, and they work great for sure, how can I get a liquid application to respond in a similar manner, right? And so it's a little late in the season. I wish I would have Googled this a year ago, because that's all I did, I swear. It's like, liquid urea methylene. Is that a thing? And then I find out, like, oh my God, it's a thing. It's in all kinds of products. So I'm actually going to pick up some either later today or tomorrow. That's like a 2100 liquid product, but it also still has humic acid, molasses, like yeast in it. And yeast, when it's in lawn care products, it's often used as something that's going to essentially work as a dethatcher. So gonna test it out, but the downside is because we're not in like prime growing season. You know, if I see results, great, but if I don't, like, I can't put it up yet.
Right.
You know, because it's like it's not a great time to fully judge it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because what I have noticed, okay, with something like this, the hybrid and the urea methylene Neutralene product is, you know, you're getting a little bit of instant green up from that very low like urea content to give it that quick greening, quick growth. But hybrid really starts working its magic in like a month and 2 months and 3 months. And then boom, you do another application like 3 months later, and it's like the consistency is wonderful. It's green. It's a very, like, I always look at user friendliness. It spreads great because, as you know, I love MicroLife products, right? But anyone who uses them regularly will know, like, all their pelletized products compared to your average stuff that you could buy at Home Depot is kind of a pain in the butt to spread. You know, it goes out slower. The application rate is way higher. Like on an average chemical product, you're putting down like maybe, 30 pounds and what, 4 to 5 to 6,000 square feet. So you're putting down like 5 pounds per 1,000 square feet. On this stuff, you should be putting down like 10 pounds per 1,000 square feet. And honestly, if it's your first time using it, I'd say put 20 pounds down on 1,000 square feet. And like, AJ, that's nuts. Won't it burn my lawn? No, it won't. Mm-hmm. It will freaking start to supercharge your soil.
There was supercharged soil, and I just lost my train of thought. But I wanted to go back and read the comments. So we got Conrad.
What up, Conrad?
Conrad's watching.
My dude.
And we were talking about being prepared, hey, for the rest of the year and everything else. And Conrad said, I'm prepared for whatever Christmas present AJ sends me.
Oh.
And so then I asked him what he wanted. And so I was thinking maybe some MicroLife, some Hippie blend, Hippie juice. He said he wants a new drone for better pictures of his lawn. So I told him that I would pass that on to you.
Okay.
Just in case.
Well, we'll see what we can do because Conrad does send me photos all the time. It is super, super much appreciated, man. And he sent me pictures of brown patch in his lawn. I'm calling you out, Conrad, okay? Like, it's rampant this year, right? And something I noticed is there's a lot of people who don't have it, but everyone tells me, like, oh, they don't do anything to their lawn. They don't water it. I'm watering my lawn. Everyone else is watering their lawn. I'm like, I wonder if there's a component to, like, us having watered our lawn with a ton of city water that's maybe contributing to this. Maybe.
Yeah.
Know? Anyway, like, he shows me some pictures of some brown patch, and I'm like, where?
Where's the brown patch? Yeah.
Where, dude?
It's right there. You're, like, zoomed in with the eye.
Right. Like, busting out my magnifying glass on the phone, like, huh? No, it's there a little bit, but compared to what we're seeing in a lot of places, it was like very subtle, wasn't too bad. So
yeah, it's on his screen. It's like, dude, dust your phone off. The picture of your phone,
right?
Like, it is a speck of dirt.
It's just dust, man. Blow on it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Which, his stuff looks so good. He sends me those drone shots, and he even has a couple like drone videos that just look incredible. And some people keep telling me, AJ, you need a drone. And after seeing what Conrad did,
thinking about it,
next year it's going to happen.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily that cheap, right? But it's going to be something that eventually happens sooner than later.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. And I even started busting out the GoPro occasionally here and there. Cause I like the phone, but the GoPro quality is just, it's
better, yeah.
It's better than the phone.
Yeah, and you can get a drone. You can get like one that's not. They're so small. It's I think it's like the Mini. The DJI is usually who we use for drones, and it's about $500. And it's super small though. It's super small, but it can get some really good stuff for you. But brand new, it's about $500.
Yeah,
which still that's a lot. That's a lot of money, but you'll use it for sure, and it'll take. Got to learn it and everything. But yeah.
Well, I hear that they have some cool settings, like you can just have it sit there and hover, right? And that would be awesome when we're out doing work and like our lawn restoration, spreading soil. Like if we could get it done fast enough, which on smaller jobs I know we could, to where you could see the whole process, right? And then go position that thing like 4 weeks later and like boom, you see what we did.
The difference.
And then look at it from up top, right?
Yeah, and then you could get it to, it won't do this, but carry you like an airplane, carry a little banner, Hippie Fertilizing, just circling around.
That would be so cool, man. Hey, I've even had some like yard signs made recently.
Yeah.
He probably won't hear this, but Tim at Signfly Graphics, which Jordan with ET Lockouts, he hooked me up with him. And, you know, I really enjoy it when I get with someone who is like, yeah, I love the name, and they want to be all goofy and creative too. So he made me these signs that say, I get my grass from a hippie for the yard signs, and they look really good. First time I've even had like business cards in forever.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Tim's like, quit being weird, dude. Everyone has business cards. I'm like, because when I was younger, I had them all the time in my pockets, and I would sweat, and then
Oh,
get
he
all
had a wet business card.
funky. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for a long time, I was just like, go follow me on Facebook, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Tim. Tim with Signfly and Jordan with ET Lockouts are both good people.
Yeah, they are.
I appreciate them.
Super cool dudes.
You know, earlier you were mentioning Microlife. You're like, everyone knows I love Microlife. And I was thinking, I was like, I would not be surprised if you had like a Microlife tattoo. You're like, everybody knows I like Microlife. It has like Microlife right there.
No. If I get a tattoo, it's going to be like Lenny, which is the name of my mascot.
Yeah. On the hat.
Right? Or it would be Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Why not both?
Yeah, probably going to happen, you know?
At some point, yeah.
Like, Lenny will be all looking up, like he's looking into the sky all happy, and Aang will be meditating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what another cool one would be, and I'm just throwing this out there, but it's a train, and on the side of the train, it says support soil biology, or it's like the SSB train.
Yeah.
Just I could see like a whole arm piece, like an SSB train.
Dude.
That'd be sick.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kinda.
And Lenny's the conductor. He's sticking his head out of the
I want that
the
so
engine.
bad. Someone needs to like help me make that up because
Tim
I
with
want that.
Signfly.
I want that on T-shirts,
Oh, yeah,
right?
that'd be
SSB train, you know, follow me, and like it's just crazy. I've been listening to this book called I think it's Life Entangled, and it's about fungi. Like everything in it is about fungi. You know, there's fungi that can respond to light, almost similar to how our eyes respond and pick up light. Okay?
Wow.
Fungi can also detect stuff without necessarily touching it. All right? Meaning like, you know, if we have fungi growing and I put this can down, it will stop a few like meters or a few millimeters from the can, because it's picking up that it's not something that's going to support it. Now, if it's a piece of wood, right, or something it can break down, it'll go to it. And fungi even has like a memory, right? So it'll grow in the same way if it was ever disturbed. It'll try and grow in the same way as it was before.
Okay.
Like they do all sorts of studies and tests with fungi and mycelium and everything. And so what the guy says in the book is like it shows a very fascinating intelligence, because part of the idea behind intelligence and having a brain is like the ability to solve problems, right? And it does. It can like go through, they use oats and stuff, and at first fungi will be rather unorganized when they're doing tests, but they set up these like mock cities with like subway train stations. And in no time at all, fungi will follow the whole train station because it figures out like it's a faster route than other stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is cool. That's smarter than me at times.
I missed my exit.
Yeah. And I've been down the road, I don't know, a million times. Feels like, right?
Oh, dude, all the time. Yeah. And just to think, like, it's all so connected, right? And I know I talk about this sometimes, hopefully often. That's why I want to support soil biology, because when you're supporting soil biology, you're supporting, like, your ecosystem, right? And everything around us. You and me right now are breathing fungal spores. Did you know that?
I didn't now. It sounds concerning.
It shouldn't be.
But it isn't, I guess, right?
Too much, okay? It's all in your body. Lots of it actually does very good things for you.
Okay.
You know, toe fungus is not cool though, right?
Right.
It's almost like the brown patch on the human body.
Exactly. That's a good comparison.
Yeah, it's irritating anyway. But no, there's fungal spores everywhere. It's all over everything. And then that like kind of goes into like soil pH a little bit, right? And you can kind of play with those because soil pH will always be higher directly around a root zone than, say, if you just probe a few inches down. You know, you're not going to get the same response as if you're directly next to the root zone because plants and fungi and bacteria are raising the acidity because it's that the acids from these things that break down the materials and the minerals and everything and make them soluble. So I hear a lot often like, hey, do you test the soil pH? No, I never have, honestly, guys. But then I was like starting to scratch my head. Should I be testing for soil pH? And then I listened to people like Dr. Elaine Ingham and, you know, our own local Eric Putnam from Eric Putnam. He's a board certified master arborist. And he's like, no, soil pH is like pretty bogus because plants will, in healthy, like if you provide them with what they need, they're going to make their own soil pH. They're going to make it how they like it.
Yeah.
So that they can get that going. And it just always fascinates me how connected everything is.
And whenever you're testing and you're trying to achieve certain results, it gives opportunity for us to mess it up from what it would prefer to be or what it needs to be, right?
And that's, yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. Like, oh, you need to put down lime or you need to put down sulfur. You need to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, and some of the material I've come across say, like, for temporary reasons, it's okay, right? But it's not good long-term. Long-term, ultimately, will be like, feed that stuff the way it wants to eat, right? Don't put a sulfur treatment down or a lime treatment down. And I always disagree with that kind of stuff either, too, because you can so easily go too far, and now you done jacked up your soil pH anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And you... like one way or another, you're going to get this type of weed or this type of weed or you're going to kill everything.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay, so it's November 1st. And what does that mean, I guess, for our area? Like, what have we been getting? What should people be doing or looking for? I know we talked about brown patch. Is that still a focus for us? Or what are we going to deal with the rest of this year?
So it's always hard to say. Yes, I mean, hey, we get rain, we get cooler temps that are a little bit warmer. Just expect some brown patch. I'm sorry, guys. It's a thing. It's that season. We can do stuff to remediate it for sure. Some microlife bioinoculant works good. There's even products out there like cornmeal with garlic in it that help with the brown patch fungal issue, right? And then also anything with cornmeal is going to also act as a fertilizer too, right? It's typically like a 7% nitrogen. I forget how to like word the ratios, but you get some good consistent fertilizer out there that's also feeding the soil. So if you have some brown patch issues and you want to do some experiments, try that cornmeal with garlic.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you definitely ain't going to be hurting anything, and you'll ward off other bugs. So it's a win-win.
Yeah.
The other thing, though, and I say it's hard to say because temperatures are, what do you say, like, it's hard to know how cold it's going to be, right? We get a super warm season in the winter, then it's like everything's going to still be relatively active, right? But if we get a good cold snap and it actually stays that way, then the beauty of it is you won't worry so much about brown patch because everything will be dormant anyway, right?
So does your grass wait for that first, like, cold little spell or something, and that's when it goes dormant? Or is it just, like, know the time of the year? Is it
So it changes based off of the time of the year, but that has a lot to do with, like, the sunlight hours, okay?
Okay.
We're not getting as much sunlight hours. We're not getting as much growth time. But then the other thing is, like, that when that cold snap comes, it's like it stresses it out. And so it puts it in like a little cold stress shock. And if those temperatures stay cooler, then it stays that way. So a way to, like, kind of stay away from the brown lawn and I know the lawn guys out there hate me for this, but don't mow your grass.
Yeah.
Seriously, because this is what I notice. If it's left alone over the fall and winter time, or at least as much as you can stand it, it stays greener longer. You cut right after that cold snap, it's all turning yellow almost guaranteed. Because now, between the cold snap and that mowing, you definitely forced it into that stress dormant stage.
It's interesting.
So
Interesting, yeah. Because I guess that makes sense if there's some green there, and plus if you leave it higher, it would allow like for warmer temps.
Yeah,
as well. Just
a little bit. I heard recently someone trying to tell their customer, like, "Oh, well, cut it short because it's less likely to get burned." Whoever tells you to cut your grass really short in the wintertime because the cold won't impact it does not know about lawns. I'm sorry. Okay, like trust me.
Yeah.
Keep your grass still a little longer all year long. That little top that it might get impacted from like a freeze or a cold snap, it will not. It's not going to have a nasty impact on what's below it.
Yeah.
It's just like frosting the tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so earlier in the program, we were talking a little bit about some of those, I guess, Microlife and the Hippie Fertilizing products. What's something somebody should put on there right now? And I know you're saying like, hey, you may not see those, you may see immediate results, but right now things are starting to change anyways. But is there something people could and should be putting down right now to kind of help prep it for, just to be healthier, I suppose?
So one of the things that's always a great go-to, and whether you've been doing it or you're just starting, but especially if you're just starting, okay, Humates Plus. It's a freaking solid winner all year long. I tested this theory last year and into this year, and the people who were using Humates Plus the most consistently had the best lawns coming out of that cold snap that we had in February. So don't be fooled. Just because it doesn't say winterizer on there or it doesn't say fall fertilizer on there, it works freaking great.
Humates Plus.
Humates Plus.
That's a Microlife product?
Correct. It's in the super purple bag. It's a 004, but lots of like nitrogen fixing bacteria, lots of good stuff. Yucca extract, which helps stuff penetrate deeper into the soil. Sometimes your product is a little extra powdery, so you might look like you were sweeping chimneys or something. But I swear, even when it's powdery, right, it's still an excellent product, and it's penetrating better into the soil, but it spreads. It's hard to spread.
So if somebody hasn't heard of Microlife or Humates Plus before, they're not going to find this at their big box store. Where can they get that product from to try it and check it out?
So there's lots of good local places. Friendswood Hardware, a lot of Ace Hardware stores carry Microlife stuff. Grippon Gardens, who else? Moss Nursery. I think even the feed store on Highway 3, I always forget their name, but feed store on Highway 3, after years and years of bugging them, I guess one of the sales guys over at Microlife finally convinced, I think his name is Kerry, to start selling Microlife. So you can find it there. It is becoming more and more available, for sure. But yes, sorry guys, you're not going to find it at Lowe's and Home Depot or Houston Garden Center. And quite honestly, we don't want you to.
Yeah.
Okay?
A place like that, I guess the convenience of it is you're shopping, you're doing something else. You kind of walk through, depending on the time of the year and the season, they set the stuff by the door. Depending on what door you go in, you may be like, oh, yeah, it seems like a good idea. I'll just throw it in there, and then I'll get, I need a pair of shorts and a pound of meat. You know what I mean? So you almost have to be. You have to be
a pair of shorts and a pound of meat.
That's what you need, right?
Yeah.
It is what it is. But you have to be intentional. Like you're not going to you're going and looking for something or going to Grippon Gardens, or it's just a different level of not customer maybe, but a different level of intention about
absolutely
your yard and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, when I started using it, I had to seek it out. I got to drive to 34th and TC Jester to go pick it up, y'all. It's not just down the street for me either. And I do my best to provide it to everyone else. Now, something I'm going to be testing too is how well does Super Soil Conditioner, because don't forget I had my own stuff made this year, right? I don't talk about it very often. There is also that same Nutrilean. excuse me, in there at a lower rate. But the difference is I had the biological inoculant added to it. That's called CM. That's in bioinoculant and brown patch to try and offset that nitrogen impact for the brown patch, right? So, I'm not over here raving like, man, it's going to work. It's going to knock out your brown patch, because quite honestly, I don't know, okay? But we're going to be testing it out this winter and seeing, if it makes it better, if it makes it worse, if it has no, noticeable impact at all. I don't know yet, but I know in the summertime that stuff was rocking and not burning lawns and still helping lawns be nice and lush and green and bounce back. So
yeah, well, that's kind of exciting. You were talking about testing. I guess having people that are experiments, or your yard or your customers' yards, and people being open to that, but finding out if your product, Hippie Fertilizing Super Soil Conditioner, what it does during the wintertime in the brown patch. It's brand new right now.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Is that exciting to you?
It's very exciting. It's a little nerve-wracking because, I wish I could just tell everyone, yes, it's great all the time. Mine is the very best, always. But I also don't want to lead people down the wrong road and, and misinform them or oversell it because, well, it does have that nitrogen source in there. So what if I'm like, yes, everyone bought it, and now I contributed to their brown patch issue? I don't want to do that either, guys.
Yeah.
Something I have been found super consistent, though, is out of the customers I do have, okay, I swear, I'm sorry, y'all, for some reason, there's like 5 lawns that don't have brown patch at all, right? And I'm thinking, what did I do here that is different than everywhere else? And something that I pick up and use sometimes, and I don't know. No, I'm just going to start using it more often, okay, everyone? I swear, I promise, because I've been liking it. It's called Grass Maker, okay?
Good name. Solid name.
Solid name.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is I'm a consumer too, in a sense, right? I read the package, I read the label. What does the label tell me? Because this is what I got to try and provide for everyone else, right? Mm-hmm. And quite honestly, the label for Grass Maker is not the most exciting. There's no numbers on it. It's biologically inoculated with something that's just slightly different than what's called BioSupreme or CM, which is the other 2 bioinoculants that are in most of microlysed granular products. And it was supposed to be developed for hay. Right?
Okay.
Hay and grasses for farmers as a inexpensive way to feed their fields in a way that would be all natural. Be great for like a product if you want your animals grazing or something, because if they eat a little bit of Grass Maker, it's going to help out their gut bacteria anyway, but they're also getting a very good, healthy, nutrient-rich grass now because it's being fed that way. Well, I was like, it's called Grass Maker. Want to try this. So I tried it on a few lawns here and there, and I think I overlook it because I'm used to seeing like even my 2-week results, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I get stuff popping quick for using organics. Grass Maker don't work that way. Okay, you don't see those results for like 4 months. And by then I've done some other things. So I'm like,
the Grass Maker, is it this?
Yeah,
Is it the eggs that you blended up and put in the backyard?
I'm glad you remember that. Hey, my backyard too, there's a couple brown patches back there, but it is freaking green, man. It is green.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think I overlook the impact that Grass Maker makes because by the time it's really doing its work, I've already done other stuff, right? But over the last few years, it's like the few times that I've used it in specific spots, the consistency is incredible. And it even says on the package, okay? It does say on the package, helps reduce weeds. Reduce them. Not completely eliminate them.
Yeah.
But reduce them because the microbes in there are specifically for grass types.
Yeah.
Right.
So something interesting, I think of Dr. Chapa, and it's hard not to, is whenever somebody starts doing something, whether it's your body, whether it's your yard, whether you're treating, cancer, or it's just anything, right? And if I was in a place where I was sick or I want every treatment possible to try and produce I guess a healthier environment. And then I don't care like what was the actual thing that healed it or gave me my body back or whatever. I just want it back. So it's like with the grass, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna not throw everything at it all at one time, but kind of give it a boost so it'll be as healthy as possible. Give it a better environment.
Yeah. And then though, it kind of bites us in the butt a little bit because then something worked.
What was it?
Well, can we reproduce it? Well, we can, but we got to mix it all together again.
Yeah, it's going to give it, 3 months, and, one of these products are focused every month, and, it will work.
Yeah.
Because it's worked every time before, but it just needs to work.
And another thing I've been doing lately, because, again, I kind of want to really hone in on making the liquid, like, hippie juice applications the bee's knees.
Mm-hmm.
And they are, but I've upped it recently. So I bought the BioSupreme powder. And lately, when I'm spraying your lawn, you're getting like the hippie juice application, which is already really good, with the BioSupreme powder, which has like over 50 types of different bacteria and fungi to help biologically inoculate it without having to put down, 80 pounds of a granular product. Right, but it also has a little bit of like yeast in there, has sugars, has a little bit of amino acids. Anytime anything has amino acids, that gets consumed and turns into nitrogen. Which nitrogen, I overlooked this for so long, and it will never be overlooked again, people. I'm so sorry. Is the building blocks of amino acids in plants. I mean, the way a guy put it in one of those like documentaries on Netflix. I'm sure. Have you heard of like Kiss the Ground?
I haven't. Do I need to watch it?
Yes.
Kiss the Ground
yes.
on Netflix.
It's amazing. I've listened to most of those books and authors that are in there. And then there's one about fungi. But anyway, what they say is like plants are the only things on the planet that literally, in a sense, eat sunlight. Okay?
Yeah.
They consume sunlight in nitrites, nitrogen in whatever form. There's a few of them. And turn it into amino acids. Because the guy was making this point about, is there protein in plants? And he was like, what are you talking about? That's what plants make out of nitrogen. Is proteins. They make amino acids, right? But just the kind of the thought of like plants. Can you imagine little grass blades just like boop, 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 eating little photons?
Consuming sunlight?
Yeah. Eating it up.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
I can't imagine it.
I can.
Conrad said that he agreed that's an awesome short on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And if you listen to it and watch it, they talk about all kinds of stuff about how the soil will save us and how amazing it is. So you probably get a good idea of what's racking in my brain sometimes. But one of the ladies who's in there for a short segment, she wrote the book, The Soil Will Save Us.
Mm.
And for anyone who likes to read at all about informative stuff, The Soil Will Save Us is like in one of my top 10 favorite books of all time, for sure.
The Soil Will Save Us. Conrad said Woody Harrelson. Is that what you say? Yeah, Woody Harrelson narrates it.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I think the lady who wrote the book is Kristen Olsen. Yeah, which
Okay.
is kind of funny because that's my last name. I was like, oh, that's cute.
Was this meant to be?
Yeah.
What are you telling me right now?
Yeah. But we've been seeing some really good things. We're definitely going to be adding to the powders and stuff that I put in the tank. And so far, the BioSupreme, seen a lot. And coming this month, we're going to start getting the CM, which is the powder version of the bioinoculant that is put into bioinoculant and microlife brown patch.
Okay.
So I'm trying to put brown patch fighters directly in the tank to add to the hippie juice.
Why not?
Yeah.
Hey, what's your goal for Hippie Fertilizing? When it's all said and done, down the road, do you want a full line of products? Is this still like, hey, staying local? What is your plan or your goals for everything?
So I'm glad you asked. Something that's been kind of like wishy-washy, a part of the vision, and I need to put more clarity on it, is yes, I would love to have my own line of products, that along with the line of products, always practice and preach and teach, like safety first, right? Can't touch it, don't use it. Because, how fun would it be to see like millions of Lennies everywhere saying, hey, man, no one knows grass about like a hippie. Like, what about them trees, dude? Yeah, the hippie knows about trees too.
Yeah.
But then also as a service, right? I want to be able to grow and expand as a service, to have people out there in the field, providing the service, also helping to teach people with trucks. Kind of part of the dream is I'd love a whole line of biodiesel trucks. That'd be awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're super fuel efficient. And hey, man, I could go to like a donut shop and say, hey, give me your used oil. Now we're running off of donut shop oil for biodiesel. How cool would that be?
That is awesome. Yeah.
So kind of a two-part deal, Would love to see it expand much more all around Houston as a service, but as a product line all over the U.S. Because to be perfectly honest, I don't want to have to deal with managing a service that's all over the U.S. like True Green.
Yeah.
I want that to be
It
like...
was hard for you to say that. It was hard for me to say the name of that.
Well, I didn't, they are like the biggest in the nation of our type of business,
okay.
Right? And so I didn't necessarily want to throw it out there exactly, but hey, some people are like, why don't you be like True Green? Like, I don't know if I want to be that big.
Yeah. So besides the difference in the size of the businesses, what are some other differences? I guess, what is someone getting whenever they hang out and work with you as opposed to someone like a True Green? What's the difference in products? What's the difference in everything?
Well, so part of the vision, right, is I want to build a business that wants to promote, like, you go out, you perform your services, you can be a part of something where you're staying active, you're constantly educating yourself and others, but we want to promote, like, being home. Go be home with your family, right? Go spend time in the community. Go volunteer. Go do things also, because I don't want to build a business structure that is all about, like, production and hours. Like, yeah, let's get stuff done. Let's knock it out. Let's be efficient and effective. But also, like, hey, did you have a good weekend off? Did you have a great 3-day weekend? Did you have time with your family? You have plenty of time to go take your boy to the ball game, or your daughter to, a dance recital, or for her football game. Those are the kind of things, like, I envision when I think about building a big company, because the whole, like, overtime and just working our lives away does, like, I work a lot sometimes, but I also want to be able to be at home with my family, right? And, like, turn that off a little bit so I can be present at home.
Yeah. I feel you. It's hard finding that balance at times, I'm sure.
Yeah.
For you and just for everybody who's out there, on the grind and just hustling to make it happen and stuff. There is that balance, and you say it and I say it, all the time, but it's like, well, I need to do a better job being intentional about that.
Right. And sometimes a better job being intentional about just knocking stuff out for work and then being done, and then being at home. So I got my stuff done. Y'all hit me up, at 8 o'clock the next day instead of after 5, right? Or don't hit me up at like 11:30 at night on the weekend, because my silly self will answer the phone sometimes.
I'll be on it. Yeah.
Like, hi, can I help you? Oh, I didn't expect you
AJ,
to answer.
I got brown patch, AJ.
Yeah.
I got that brown patch. It's like, it's 11:45 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm on my way.
I'm on my way.
What can we do? I got my hippie juice. I got a tank of hippie juice, and we're going to knock this out.
Yeah.
Before the sun rises.
Right.
Man. That's cool.
I just want to really help build something that truly not just, like, does stuff better organically, but the whole work community too.
Yes. While you were, talking about the trucks and you were talking about just the products, I was thinking of Lenny driving the train, conducting the train. I'm not sure. He's the conductor, right?
Right.
And, on some of the products, the train or the shirt or the merchandise or a plush doll or whatever it is. I'm just thinking about that on those trucks powered by like donut shop oil.
Right. So the donut shop oil was not my idea, to be perfectly honest. That was by Jason, my boy, who's at Healthy Soil Organics. He's like, AJ, man, you just imagine if you're driving around and everyone's smelling donuts. It's like, that's actually a really cool idea.
Yeah, they'd be like, I love when AJ comes over and I can't put my finger on why. It just reminds me of something. It's just a good time. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, like, man, it's just the sweetness in the air,
It's the hippie juice. That's what they think it is, the hippie juice.
Yeah.
It's the donut oil.
It's the donut oil, man. Then we're putting a tiny bit of oil in the tank because oils also help do things with lipids and fats and plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever you have those, like the blend of that stuff in there, does it have to be mixed, pretty regularly, or does just driving or however it gets there, does it mix it?
So I mix it up like fresh on every house.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
The stuff that we use is really water soluble, but also my tank has an agitator. So whenever I'm not spraying directly, it's shooting it back through the tank, basically keeping it mixed up. So it stays pretty well mixed. And no, as of right now, it may change in the future, but as of right now, like, I don't roll around with a full tank ever, right? If I'm rolling around, my tank is like empty because I'm filling it up at the next house, because this being the way that it is, it works best when it's fresh.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm mixing it up fresh, filling it up, and then pouring it all out over that yard, all of the hippie juice goodness.
Right, because most people have excellent water pressure. I haven't yet to have one customer who was like, oh, no, don't use my water. It's getting sprayed back on your grass.
Yeah.
So no one ever cares. And I think it's kind of silly, too. Like, hey, what is it, 8 pounds a gallon or something? Right? So 50 gallons is like, what, 400 pounds?
Not good at math.
Something like that?
I don't know.
Well, 8 and 5 is 40, right?
Yeah.
So add a zero, it's 400 pounds. I mean, hey, man, that's saving fuel economy if I'm not rolling around with an extra 400 pounds.
Yeah, and right now you need it.
Right.
All the time we need it, but
Went from
especially now.
paying $60 to fill up to like 75.
Yeah. I saw a post on Facebook, and actually I think it popped up on my feed because Jordan with ET Lockouts had commented on it, and it was like, hey, how much does it cost you to fill up your tank? And he was like, $50 to $55, three times a week, because that's what he does. Driving, helping people out of emergencies and stuff. And same thing with you, pulling, solving people's problems one house at a time.
One house at a time. It's working freaking good, too,
yeah,
man.
That's awesome.
So,
is there anything else you want to talk about we haven't touched on? Or that we've touched on?
You guys, if y'all listen to Audible or you listen to audiobooks, I would highly encourage you go check out that Entangled Life. Just because I think anytime we open ourselves up to learning about the different stuff, about how this stuff works, like, I don't know. It just blows my mind on how connected it all is still. So, hey, go check it out. Check out hippiefertilizing.com. Check out hippiefertilizer.com. And if you haven't yet and you've been curious and you're like, I don't know if it's going to work, sign up with Hippie Fertilizing. Get on our monthly or bi-monthly schedule, because we're offering a bi-monthly schedule now too. Okay? It's $98 every other month. We're going to come out. We're going to freaking provide the best hippie juice in town, because no one else has it. But it's pretty awesome.
AJ, you're awesome. Thank you for hanging out today.
Thank you, Gardy. It's always a pleasure, man.
This is KHEA Radio.